Digital marketers live inside their web browser. We use it for almost every task. So why should we be stuck with minimal software that doesn't fit our workflow? Meet Vivaldi. In this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the features that I think will help you work more efficiently. Is this the best web browser for marketing folk? Welcome to Not Another Marketing Channel. Don't forget to subscribe and also check out the complimentary podcast as well, which surprisingly is called Not Another Marketing Podcast. Yet the links are downstairs, just down there. You know where they are. I'm going to be talking about this Vivaldi web browser. I've been using it for over a year now, and it's fantastic. It really is. It's helped my workflow, helped me become more efficient. It's got so many features that you can shake a stick at. It's just full of features and settings and functionality. You can configure this browser to do what you want. Let's jump straight in and look at some of the most important functionality and features Vivaldi has for marketing folk. Okay, let's start off with the real basics. We're going to look at bookmarks to start off with. This is my Vivaldi and how I've got my Vivaldi set up, and we'll talk more about all these little folders and little web pages and things a little bit later in this video. But I want to talk about bookmarks to start off with. Vivaldi obviously has bookmarks, exactly the same as every other web browser out there. But there's a couple of little ways you can get access to your bookmarks, which is a little bit different to other web browsers. So when you're on your new tab page or your blank page like this, there's a button at the top here called Bookmarks. We can click it and we get a list of our bookmarks. We can search our bookmarks, we can add new ones, we can delete them, we can do all sorts of things with our bookmarks, just the same as any other web browser. So that's cool. It's an easy way to be able to get to your bookmarks. Now, another way is if you were searching a website, if you were looking at a website and you wanted to bookmark this website or you wanted to go to another website, you can just open on the side panel the bookmark tab, and then you just get a little panel appear again with all your bookmarks. You can search them. We'll talk more about this side panel a little bit later in this video. But there's a couple of really easy ways and quick ways to get access to your bookmarks in Vivaldi. Vivaldi comes with really cool history function where you can actually search all the pages which you've browsed forever, or as long as it's been since you cleared and deleted your history in your browser. Every web browser comes with this, but Vivaldi takes it to the next level slightly. So from your new tab page, like your blank tab page here, there's a little button at the top here that says History. Click on that and it goes to a view similar to this. Now we can look at it by day, by week, by month. We can see all of the pages that we visited on this computer. Now there's not many on this one because I'm recording this in my little tiny sound booth and I don't actually go to many web pages here, but on my main computer, there's so many. There's so many. But can you understand how this is going to be really useful for a marketer? If you were doing some research for a client or you're doing some research for some content marketing and you visited a web page, say 3 or 4 days ago, and there was a quote there and you couldn't remember which web page it was you looked at, what you can actually do is to go back to that particular day and look through all the pages which you visited and find that quote. You can even search for things as well. And this is a really, really cool way to be able to visualize and see all the pages that you've been visiting on your web browser. Now, again, this little side panel on the side-hand side also gives us access to the history. So if we're already on a website and we were going to go searching through our history, we can just click the little history button, the little clock on the left-hand side in the side panel, and we can get access to, again, all of our history. We can search it. We can look at today's history. We could look at yesterday's history, last 30 days, whatever you want. That's history in Vivaldi. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit exciting. We're going to talk about speed dials. This is the number one feature I use Vivaldi for. This is just the best feature. The speed dials are all these little thumbnails you can see in front of you. It's folders of web pages. They're basically bookmarks. And there's just so many of them. They're just everywhere. It's just basically keeps you organized and keeps you in one place. So for example, my office folder here, if we click on that, it opens up with, oh my days, loads and loads of web pages here. So my invoicing software there, my CRM software, my social media management software, my cloud storage, all sorts of different stuff is all in one place. and that's in the Office folder. I've also got folders for servers and websites. My own website is there. Just click on it and it goes straight to my website. As simple as that. These speed dials are fantastic. They keep you organized. All the important pages that you need to keep visiting all the time can just be in one place. You can put them in folders. You can make them visual as well, so you can actually see them really, really quickly. Now, another cool feature about speed dials is that you can have different pages of speed dials. So, for example, this is my general page here at the top. I can flip over to podcasts, and then all the pages that I use related to my podcast are here. So, for example, that's my podcast hosting page, the company that I host my podcast with, Google Podcast Manager. We've got Amazon storage for podcasts as well, podcast guest, all sorts of stuff. It's all in there, and it's all in one place. I've also got separate pages for training and for clients as well. So within the clients one, I've got a folder for each individual client, and in that folder are things like the client's website, the client's social media pages, their Facebook, their Twitter, their LinkedIn. It's also got like storage areas like Dropbox and things like that that I might need to access for clients, all in one place. So each client has their own individual folder. And I've also got a social tab as well. So if we click on the social tab, we can see I can access my Twitter, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, all sorts of different things, all from one place. Another feature of Vivaldi that I use all the time is the side panel, this little thing on the left-hand side. And you can basically store web pages in your side panel, and they display in like their mobile format. So the way I use it, for example, is I can be looking at a website, I can be looking down and then think, oh, right, well, I've got to watch the cricket later at like 5 o'clock. So there's my to-do list at the top here. And I can add a task directly into my to-do. So watch cricket. Yes, absolutely. And I can add that task to my inbox. And it's all in this little side panel. And you notice how it all sort of like floats out. And then if I click it again, it all floats back in. And look at my web page again. So cool. But you can also have some communication software in there. So, for example, I've got WhatsApp actually in the left-hand side. It's WhatsApp web. So all the WhatsApp chats and things, they come to my browser in the side panel. You could have Facebook Messenger there if you wanted to. I've also got Instagram as well, so I can actually post directly from my web browser on my computer onto Instagram through the side panel. You can add as many web pages as you want, well, presumably as you've got space down here, and you can have all the different messengers, you could have all the different to-do lists, little note-taking apps, all sorts of different things that are important to you in the left-hand side menu. Now, the really cool thing is that if you get a WhatsApp message, like a little number 1 will show up on the icon, so you know when you've got a message. It's really cool. It's really good. The side panel is something that I use every single day. Okay, I'm starting to sound like a fanboy now, aren't I? Yeah, I really do like this web browser. I love having control over lots and lots of different things and being able to put things where I want to put them. In Google Chrome, you can't put WhatsApp in the left side menu. You just can't do it, and I like being able to do things like that. But anyway, let's get on to tab stacks. Tab stacks are pretty cool, and I do use them quite a bit, but mainly on my desktop computer. So I'm going to give you a little bit of demonstration what a tab stack actually does. So I've got my social media bits open here. We've got Twitter open, we got Facebook page open, and we got LinkedIn page open. So everything's open along there. And what I can do is I can create a tab stack out of these three. So we hold down the control button. That's on Windows. Do Macs have a control button? I don't know. Do Macs have a control? I don't know. Proper computers, they have a control button. Anyway, you hold down control, and then you can click on your tab, click on your tab, click on your tab, like that. And then we can right click, and what we can do is we can create a new tab stack with the selected tabs. Bang. And we've actually got different tabs inside a tab. How cool is that? Fantastic. And can you see right at the very top, there's just like a little bit of, yeah, 1 tab, 2 tab, 3 tab, 2 tab, 1 tab, just like that. So I use this on my main desktop computer, and I have like my calendar in there, my invoicing software in there, my CRM software in there, my social media management software in there. I have all the bits and things that I need open all of the time in like an admin tab, and they're all in one place up the top left-hand corner. So whenever I need to write an invoice out or chase something out, I just head over to it, click it, and bang, it's there. Tab stacks are really, really useful. Okay, it's going to start getting a little bit more interesting now. Vivaldi has a built-in basic note taker. Yes, it does. It has notes built into it. So when you're on your new tab page, your blank tab page here, there's a notes button at the top, and you click on it and we can get to notes. We can add folders, we can add text notes on the side. The way I tend to use it is that I will have notes in front of me. I'll be taking notes whilst I'm browsing other web pages or whilst I'm talking to people, say on a podcast or something. So for example, I have a folder here for podcasts. I've got guest talking points here, so I can click on that. So if I'm doing if I'm being a guest on a podcast, then I've got lots of different talking points all listed down here that I can be talking about in relation to the different things that I do. And it's a proper little note taker. There's like bold and headings and all sorts and strike throughs and indents and stuff like that. It really is useful, ever so useful. Okay, tab tiling. This is another cool little feature that I use quite a lot, especially when I'm recording podcasts, but you could use it for all sorts of different ways. You could use it if you've got a live chat or something with a client. So you could have two web pages either side of each other. One of them is like a chat panel and the other one is like the customer's website. You can be having a chat about it. Let's show you how it works. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do that control thing again and select both of our tabs. And then this little button here, we're going to do that with it. And what it does is it opens up these pages side by side. So this is how I record a podcast. Okay, this is exactly how I do it, right? We're recording the podcast using CleanFeed, and I've got the notes on the right-hand side. So I've got the profile of the person I'm interviewing, and I've got all the questions down the bottom. Now, for you, it could be a different. You could have a Google document or a Word document on the left-hand side, and you could have a web page on the right-hand side, and you could be writing notes and creating content, doing whatever you do. You could have a chat on the left-hand side and the client's website on the right-hand side. We can even change the size of these as well, so you can grab hold of it and you can move things around. So that again could be, say, Facebook Messenger, and that on the right hand side could be a client's website, and you could be talking to them throughout. It's up to you how it works. Vivaldi comes with its own ad blocker and tracker blocker as well, so you can block adverts and trackers from your web pages, so people aren't tracking you and showing you lots of adverts and things. And you might be thinking to yourself, why on earth would a marketing person be blocking all the adverts? In fact, you're responsible for putting all these adverts there in the first place, aren't you? Yeah. Well, it can be irritating, can't it? I mean, yeah, we do get a little bit irritated by the number of adverts that show up on some web pages. There's lots and lots of them, so I tend to keep my ad blocker switched on, but I also tend to turn it off on the pages that I want to turn it off on. So if I'm browsing a certain website, for example, that I want to see the adverts, I don't know, it could be Ars Technica, or it could be the Register, for example. We got the Register up here, okay? So I want to see the adverts on the Register because they're lovely adverts. So all we do is we go up to the top in the little address bar, and then we can click here, no blocking default, and it reloads the page, and wow, all the adverts start showing up. And then if we think to ourselves, well, you know what, that's too many adverts, what we can do is we can just click on block trackers and ads, and they all disappear. And that's how the page shows up like that. It's up to you when you decide to block things and not block things, just with the little click, as simple as that. So if you want to be looking at adverts and seeing how advertising for maybe some of your clients or your competition is appearing on a page, then you can show the adverts. But then if you're doing research, for example, and you're building some content or something, you can actually turn all the adverts off and do your research in peace and quiet. So the ad blocker is really cool, and it works really, really well. You can make Vivaldi look how you want it to look. You can change the theme, you can change the colours, you can change the background image. I got Batman as my background image of my new tab page, and you can change all of this to whatever you want. I've got a dark theme at the moment because I'm recording this inside my little voice booth thingy, which is quite a dark place. So I don't want a white background, I don't want white borders and things because, well, I got old man eyes and it'll burn my eyes out, won't it? Nice and dark. So what we can do is we can hit the theme settings in Vivaldi, and there's so much you can do. I'm not going to go into it all because this is just getting silly, but the first thing, you can actually set times from when it switches from a dark mode to a light mode. How cool is that? So this little bit here, so 7:30 in the morning, until then it's dark, and then it's bright and cheerful all day, and then at 8 o'clock at night it goes dark again. We can even change the background of that start tab. So we got Batman there. So what we can do is we can hit start tab, and then we can select another image. We can open images from our computer, and when we open another start tab, we have a different image there. So the theming functionality is enormous. You really need to dig into it and spend a lot of time looking at it, but you can make this web browser look exactly the way you want it to look, which is great. So in conclusion, right, this is a great web browser. I really think it's pretty darn cool. Is it as fast as Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge? It's probably not, but it's not slow. Let me tell you, it's not so. It does have a lot going on. There's like a notes feature, there's bookmarks, there's a side panel, there's theming, there's all sorts of stuff going on. So it is a teeny weeny bit slower than, say, Google Chrome, but we're talking tenths of a second here. If you're really fussy, then, well, you're fussy. I'm not bothered about that tenth of a second that it might take longer than, say, Google Chrome to load a page, because I'm not that fussy with time and things like that. So the speed is there, it's fine, it's okay. I haven't had a problem with it at all myself, okay? But the biggest reason I use this web browser and use it all the time is because of its organisation. The speed dials particularly, being able to put all the clients' web pages, information all into one place. I've even got like links to the CRM page for each client within their little client folder, so that I can get to those pages really quickly instead of having to go to the CRM system, search for the name of the client, hit the thing, then hit the... too hard. Just click on one click and you're there straight away. So the organization side, the workflow side of thing is what I like about this browser, because it makes me more efficient. So is this the best browser for marketers? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.